Alright, so I had to go ahead and do my girl. Hers is going to be probably kind of long because her history is pretty extensive. So this is my girl, Aldrif Odinsdottir, or Angela. So to start, Angela first started in Image Comics. She was an angel and warrior for Heaven who worked to oppose Spawn. She actually went up against Spawn and tried to kill him, but was defeated by him despite her significantly greater experience. Later on, he came to her aid during a trial in Heaven where he testified that she had permission to kill him. They were temporarily sent to a pocket dimension when his cloak had actively tried to protect him from her weapons. When he restructured reality and brought them back from the pocket dimension, her permit to use her weapons against him was revoked. While returning to Earth, they started a romantic relationship and she was killed during a battle with Malebolgia, and he returned her body back to the angels. Her history in the Marvel Universe starts when she is the firstborn of Odin and Freya. Heaven wages a war on Asgard, and the Queen of the Angels kidnaps Aldrif to try to blackmail Odin into surrendering. When he doesn't, she seemingly kills the baby and flees. And after this happens, he cuts off Heaven from the 9 realms in Yggdrasil. When the Queen of the Angels ordered for the baby's corpse to be disposed of, her handmaiden L'Oreal took this task upon herself. She discovered the baby was still alive and raised her with the angels under the name Angela. Angela was constantly mocked for being wingless. She always sought the comfort of her mother, and one day she went to go seek the comfort of her mother, and her mother had disappeared without a trace. She later on became leader of the hunt and went to live in her own manor. When a monster was attacking the temple of Encordes, she was tasked with killing the monster. She would have been killed herself had it not been for the one living there named Sarah. And as repayment, she let Sarah live with her. While hunting for a fugitive, Sarah and Angela were approached by a hierophant of the temple that Sarah was previously at. They wanted Sarah to come back to the temple and even offered to give information about L'Oreal. But Angela refused and fought the deity instead, defeating him, and he swore that he would get revenge on her. Sarah was confused as to why Angela didn't take the deal, and she basically said that she would never want to have Sarah in that place ever again, and kissed her, recognizing her love for her. Oh. After many adventures through the Endworld, Sarah ended up being killed by one of their enemies, and every attempt to try to bring Sarah back to life ended in vain for Angela. While Wolverine was time traveling to try to prevent Ultron from rising to power, it created a rift and it pulled Angela out of Heaven and sent her to Midgard, which, of course, pissed her off. While she was on Earth trying to get revenge on whoever pulled her out of her homeworld, she was intercepted and defeated by Gamora and the rest of the Guardians and captured for interrogation. During the interrogation and Angela speaking of her homeworld, they realized that Angela really kind of just wanted to see Earth for herself and that they had incited the fight with her, so they released her and helped her explore Earth. At one point, she had sensed that Heaven was opened to the 9 realms by Thor and Loki, and she went back home and fought an exhausted Thor and captured him. Loki, of course, pretended to side with the angels and led an angel fleet to Asgard to help them destroy it. At this time, Thor had escaped captivity and engaged Angela in combat once again. When he was getting ready to kill her after getting the upper hand, the fight was interrupted by Odin, who recognized her as his daughter. He offered her a home on Asgard, but she refused and she was kicked out by the angels. With nowhere to go, she decided to go explore other realms. While she was sifting through riches in an abandoned palace somewhere, she was approached by her lost lover, Sarah. Confused, she tried to kill her, but ended up being convinced that it was her after she answered 3 questions only Sarah would know. When she did ask Sarah how she was still alive, Sarah couldn't really answer the question. After the birth of her younger sister, she went to Asgard and kidnapped her and escaped through teleportation to Limbo. She was followed, however, by her brother Odinson and an army of Asgardians. While she kept them at bay, Sarah cast a spell that sent her to Midgard. Heimdall told the Asgardians where on Midgard she was, and Sarah had her escaped to Vinheim. After dealing with a group of dark elves, Sarah led Angela to the Temple of Union so that she could get Ciri's wedding dress, which was the one thing Heimdall could not see through. After getting the dress, Sarah, Angela, and the baby went to the moon where the Guardians of the Galaxy were waiting for them. While they were playing cards, Angela heard something and repeated it, inadvertently calling the Desir, and a fierce battle erupted between the Guardians of the Galaxy and the former Valkyries of Bor. The battle ended with the Desir literally in pieces, and Brune told the Guardians that Angela had kidnapped the baby Sarah was carrying. Demanding answers, of course, Angela told them that the baby was the daughter of not only her parents, but Surtur as well, and that they needed to get the flame out of her so that she didn't burn down everything, like including all of the realms. They didn't believe her until the baby turned into a flame demon and burned Groot down. After that, they took them to heaven where they were attacked by angels and Asgardians. Angela and Odinson battled one another, and the battle only ended when a pillar almost fell on the baby, and Angela protected the baby with her body. When he realized that she didn't want to kill her sister, Thor helped her go above the city by the furnace, and then Angela threw the baby in. Basically, what happened after that was that the fire, Surtur's fire, was siphoned from the baby and reignited heaven's fire, and that was her way of paying her debt back to heaven. And she jumped into the furnace and used the metal wings on her dress to save her baby sister. After the All-Mother and All-Father released her and marked her a traitor, she prepared to leave Asgard with Sarah, but realized that Sarah wasn't Sarah at all and threatened her with an iron sword. And Sarah turned out to be the dark elf Malekith the Accursed. He struck a deal with her that if she didn't reveal his involvements in everything that happened, that he would tell her about Sarah. And she agreed, and he told her that Sarah was in hell. Sarah ended up in hell because Freya had cast a curse on all of the angels that once they died, they were supposed to go to hell and stay there. Angela fought her way through hell to try and find Sarah. When she reached the north wing of hell, she was a spell was cast on her to relive the day that she rescued Sarah, but she broke free of the spell and continued looking for her. When she finally found Sarah and she tried to take her back, it was impossible for Sarah to leave if the rules of hell had not changed. And in order to change that, Angela had to become the queen of hell, defeating Hela. Angela befriended Leah of Hell and completed all 3 trials, defeated Hela and her army, became Queen of Hell, and had Sarah as her royal consort. She abdicated her throne to Balder and found out that L'Oreal was alive, and she ended up, her and Sarah, moving to New York City. And another one of her laws that she started in hell was that none of the angels, when they died, were supposed to come there. And so she reversed Freya's spell. Mysterious murders began happening in New York City. She was confronted by the new Thor, who thought that she had something to do with it. When Sarah stopped their fight, she informed the new Thor and Angela that all of the murders were a result of the Faustian Queen. The Faustian Queen was an enchanted play created by the alternate version of Angela, who was immortalizing the witch hunter Angela for killing Enchantress and gaining her powers. The play and Faustian Queen ended up in their universe after the death and rebirth of the multiverse, and because she was stuck in the realm of fairy for so long, she decided to punish the wicked, and they all had no choice but to confront the Faustian Queen. Sometime later, Angela was kidnapped by the brothers of Badoon and was taken to Zalta Volta, but she was rescued by Gamora and the Guardians of the Galaxy. During a side storyline called Vote Loki, Loki was running for president of the United States after saving the country from a Hydra attack, and Angela was representing him as his bodyguard, only to find out what actually happened. Basically, what he told her was that he set the whole thing up so that he could become president of the United States. She gave this information to a reporter for an unlimited subscription to the Daily Bugle, and they turned him in, and he did not win the presidency. During War of the Realms, she joined the League of Realms to go free Queen Elsa Featherwine from the Alfheim captivity. Then she went looking for Sarah, who had disappeared in the previous storyline, and ran into Kid Loki, who is a past version of Loki that's not even supposed to exist anymore, and he directed her towards Ego, the living planet. She also creates a team called Asgardians of the Galaxy to stop Nebula from using the Naglfar Armada from raising Earth. When they got to Ego, the living planet, she discovered that Sarah had become part of the Ravagers and tried to convince her to leave, but Sarah didn't want to go with her. The Ravagers and the Asgardians of the Galaxy parted ways, and she tried to go to Asgard to safekeep the Naglfar beacon, but was directed by Heimdall to go to Earth to stop Malekith's forces. During a fight with the Angels of Heaven in Kenya, she used the beacon to summon the Armada, and her former adoptive homeworld was ravaged by undead zombies. Almost all of the angels were massacred, and she killed the Queen of Angels by herself. Before she died, the Queen of Angels asked Angela to lead the surviving angels, but she basically told her to go to hell, and left the angels to fend for themselves, just like they left her to fend for herself. Angel is now co-lead of a team called Strikeforce with Blade. After the Verdai had released a deadly virus inside of a research compound, they brought in Angela, Spider-Woman, Wiccan, and Winter Soldier, and Spectrum to the facility so that they would be blamed when the Avengers got there. Blade, however, had ran into the Verdai before and knew that they were innocent and decided to help them stop the criminals. They arrive at the Temple of Three and fight off the Verdai, and Damon Hellstrom comes to aid them, and Blade kills him thinking that he is Verdai. So it was like an accident. They arrive at Satana Hellstrom's office in Las Vegas and try to bring back Damon. Wiccan is in the middle of trying to resurrect him, and Angela is staying with him, and Blade and the others are going around the club looking for more Verdai, and Satana and Angela kiss. It's literally so incredibly random. It's just like kind of like right there. Anyway, the Verdai ambush the heroes and kidnap Wiccan because they need a new sorcerer. And so that is where Strikeforce is at right now. So that is Angela's current storyline. She has Asgardian physiology as well as super strength, or superhuman strength, superhuman durability, speed, longevity, superhuman healing. She is self-sustained. She doesn't actually have to eat or drink anything. She can fly, and she has a psychic link to her ribbons, and she can use them to strangle or cut her opponents. She also carries around Xiphos, the Sword of the Stars, and the Blades of Ichor, and that is Aldrif, Odinsdottir, or Angela.